welcome to the Mallet studio. I'm looking at daffodils. I've been thinking about daffodils because this is the season, and I love the way everything has its season. And I was out on my bike last week, bitterly cold, so I'd get a bit of fresh air and inspiration while I could, before we all got stuck in with this lockdown. Anyway, I came across an avenue of daffodils, absolutely glorious colours, and I've decided I'm going to work it up into something special. So I'm using oil colours, and they are nice and thick, gloopy bits of oil. The thing with oil paint is it has a gorgeous texture about it, and when you use it thickly and gloopily, first of all, it takes a long time to dry, but secondly, it just has a real added bonus about the texture of it all, which I really like. So that's what I'm using here. I'll show you some of the colours I've got. I've got a variety of oil paints here. I've got this tube, which looks like brown. It's a lovely lemon yellow. It must be 50 years old, this tube. It was my dad's. Look how the label's gone all sticky and oily and gloopy. I think it's a Winsor & Newton tube of paint, but as I say, at least 50 years old. Then I've got some Winton oil colour here, and I've also got a bit of alkylid colour, which is a sort of almost like a fake oil paint, but it's quick drying. The quick drying aspect of it is rather nice. It gives you a little bit of added bonus. What else have I got here? Ooh, a nice Van Dyke yellow. This is Italian paint. I came across this manufacturer when I was a student hitchhiking around Italy, and I've always used it ever since because I really like the quality of the paint. So I ordered these online last year. Van Dyke, Colori ad olio sopra-frini, and this is zinc yellow. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in lots of nice thick texture of daffodils onto this avenue, and then I blocked in the avenue a couple of days ago. I blocked it in to give me an idea of where things are going to go, and then it's a matter of adding in the colours. I've got a screen just here with my photos that I took the other day, and that just gives me the idea of where things are, just so I know roughly where I'm going to put things. Now, a diligent artist, which perhaps I'm not, would use different brushes for different colours, but I'm quite comfortable with what I'm going to create here and how it's going to look, and I know that it's the thickness of the colour mixed in together. Your eyes will fill these textures in. Let's try a different one for the whites, because there's a lot of different colours in daffodils. I love this time of year when the spring colours come out, because you get we've had such a long, damp, stormy winter, and now we've got this challenging worldwide spring, like the world's changing around us. But it will come good, and I am quietly confident that we stay in, we work away. This doesn't bother me really in many ways. This is how I'll spend many days in my studio. So quite often I don't even leave the property. I just work away here, which is nice. Now I think I'm going to need some Naples yellow in there because there's a bit of that coming in, so let's shove in some Naples. You'll see that I'm not painting particular shapes, I'm doing in blocks of colour where I know things are going to go, and it will work. I'm quietly confident about that. And of course the good news is if it doesn't, you can just go over it. Paintings don't just happen. You have to sort of plan them and work them out where things are going to be. So I know, for instance, that I'm going to have this avenue of trees, and behind it here you can see this purple underpainting. That I'm not worried about at all. That will become blue in due course. I need another brush. Here we go. I've got the oxide of chromium. Oxide of chromium is a really nice green, and I mix that with a little bit of grey, and give me a moment, I'll be back with you in just a second. Hang on. Cup of tea? Cup of tea would be lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's my assistant, just coming to make sure I'm happy and get a cup of tea going. Right. So, the thing with painting like this is that you look for light and shade in the image. Light and shade. It's not shape. The shape of the daffodils is not as important as the light and shade in it. I've got a big palette down here. I would show you, but alright, I'll show you. Go on then. There you go. There's my palette with a lot of different colours. Right, I want that avenue to disappear off down into the distance here. One of the things I really liked with this particular avenue of trees, you're going to want to know where it is, aren't you? In the Chilterns. The Chilterns are great. They're one of Britain's finest natural parks. We have the best bluebells in about 3 weeks' time of anywhere in the British Isles. And right now, if you head up between Marlow and Hambledon, there's a little hamlet called Rotten Row, and in Rotten Row there's this avenue of trees that I came across because I happened to be on my bike. If I had been in the car, I wouldn't have gone that way. I just would have gone, it's not on the way to anywhere, so I wouldn't have bothered. Because I was out with the sole idea of exploring, I found them. Right, starting to look a bit better now. Okay. Let's get in a little bit of mineral violet. I like purple. You can see I like purple. There's a lot of it in the underpainting. And the reason I use purple in this is that purple and yellow are complementary colours. By that I mean that they go well together. They sit happily alongside each other, side by side. And okay. I've not done one of these things before, doing it as a live piece. So, interested to hear how it's sounding from your end. Does it work? I know what you're going to say is, can we see more detail of the actual painting? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I just thought, well, I'll give it a go and see what happens if I put the tablet, this thing, there, and give it a go. Oh, a couple of messages there. Oh, hello, Jeanette. Nice to see you again. I haven't seen you for ages, not since we were at Didcot, when you used to run the lovely Didcot Railway Centre. So, when I go out with my bike, I take with me the paints. You'll know that I cycled the Camino de Santiago a couple of years ago. In fact, 2 years ago, as we speak, I was on that journey. And I took with me my paints on a 2-month, 2,500 mile bike ride. That, for anybody who likes statistics, is the equivalent of Land's End to John O'Groats, back to Land's End, turn around and go up to Scotland again. And I did that alone from home. And I'll tell the story in Utterly Brilliant, My Life's Journey, the tale that's in my book. But the idea was to paint the adventure as I went. And that, of course, is easier said than done. You need good views and you need the climate to be right. As it transpired, I chose to go when the beast from the east was raging. Storms, now then, sunshine and shadows. Hang on a second. Strong light source coming across here. There'll be shadows across there. Put some shadows into the roadway. Like this. And let the light and shade make up that pathway. Right, brush the green of the field. Cinnabar, green light. Again, the Van Dyke greens. I like these. I'm quite comfortable putting on large blobs of colour here because I know that your eyes will do a lot of the work that I would like the paintbrush to do. What have I got down here? There's a Viridian. That's quite a startling green. Aha! Emerald. Emerald green. Difficult colour to use, emerald. I'll put this on and that will be quite startling. It is. So I'll just take it down a bit with a little bit of dark iridian blue, and that gives me some shadows in here. I'm using the edge of the brush. The edge of the brush gives me, I can use the flat blade or the edge. Yeah, that's coming along, that's alright. Now then, some more of that dark green into here. Right, this solid lump of green. Actually, this is starting to feel quite nice because I'm getting in very thick paint. And it's always a pleasure to paint thickly. You know, when you see a painting in a gallery and you see it with thick paint on, you know the artist's gone at it quite comfortably and confidently. Using a thin brush here, heavily laden. Often when I'm painting in my studio alone, I'll have the music on, or a bit of Radio 4 or something, listen to a story. More often than not, my phone rings, and I can usually predict when the phone will ring. So don't be surprised. I won't be surprised if in the course of this little session my phone rings and somebody's calling up for a chat, talk about the lockdown, how we're getting on. Hear that? That's a text from somebody probably saying, "Hey Timmy, we're watching you on YouTube." Get off the airways, Mallet. Right. Feeling good with that. What I'm going to do here next is I'm going to do a little bit of blocking in of this light and shade in these trees here, because at the moment it just looks like a dark purpley blob. But if I give that a little bit more definition, it will make the daffodils start to stand out. Find my brushes. I'm using De Laurenti's brushes, Graduate. They're synthetic, they're really cheap, and they're very good, so I highly recommend them. You know, you get to find the sort of paints you like just by trial and error. Practice with them. What have I got here? Classico Sky Blue. It's quite a bright blue, that. I'll put that onto my palette over here, and I will dull that down because we need a little bit of blue in the sky. But this greyness over here is more English. It's got something about it that I really rather like. So I'll take a bit of grey, bit of that blue, too much actually. Where's my other grey that I've got? What's this? There's a blue grey. That's a Daler oil colour. That's quite good, I like that. Put a bit of that in. Ah, I know what will work. This, the buff titanium. I use this quite a lot. It's not much of a colour, but it's a very useful colour. You mix that in with things, and it starts to make a difference. Ah,
now there's an Earl Grey from a Billy the Gardener cup.
Billy the Gardener. Need your gardens doing? He's your man. Okay.
And here's one for Rachel Burton, living up north. She wanted a brew.
Oh, is she watching? Oh, hi Rachel. Here's your tea girl. Perfect. Right. Milo the dog has wandered in. The dog's staying with us for the duration of the lockdown, and he doesn't quite know what to do with himself. He's here enjoying the garden, bit of space. Right, here we go. That buff titanium I talked about, see that? Suddenly brings in a little bit of drama. It's so easy. Well, it's easy for me because I've been doing this a while. You're going to say, oh, I couldn't do that. Well, you probably could. You've got to have a bit of courage, I suppose, to know where your brush marks are going to go and what they're going to deliver. And I know while I'm doing this that they're delivering all sorts of things. I'm very fortunate here that I've got a good space to work in. Actually, do you want to see the train going round? Yeah? Hold on. You'll hear it. There it is. It's just going to go round as we talk. And I like it very much as company. I have to say, you're very nice company today, and thanks very much for being with me. It's a little weird talking to yourself, but don't we all do this? Talk to ourselves? Right, I'll tell you a bit about the purple underpainting that I've put in here. The purple underpainting is to get rid of the white canvas. If I get rid of it so that I start with a colour of some sort, it just makes it less intimidating as you work. Oh, homemade gingerbread. I made this. I made this not a long time. Oh God, that's good. Oh, I'm a great cook. It's a recipe I inherited from my mum, and she said before I went off to uni, learn how to make gingerbread and you'll never be lonely. I said, what do you mean? She says, everybody likes gingerbread. If you make gingerbread, you'll get lots of visitors. I did. I had lots of visitors and lots of friends. Were they interested in me? No, they were interested in the gingerbread, of course. Right, you see how the trees are now stepping out in front of us because I pushed, I pushed the sky, I put the sky in, which has pushed the trees back or brought them forward, one or the other. There you go. That's another text saying, Timmy, sing us a song. Funny tweet I saw this morning. Somebody had tweeted, itsy bitsy teeny weeny, we're all stuck in a government quarantine. I thought that was funny. That started today. Oh yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I like that. I'm having to say, I think the stuff that we're seeing on social media at the moment is really good. The gags that are coming in. Oh, I wake up in the morning, and Mrs. Mallett howls with laughter as she opens her phone. She says, oh, look at this. She's getting in phone messages from the Aussies. Some of their gags, completely inappropriate, you know, the sort of thing we shouldn't be laughing at. But isn't it great? Oops! Crap! Sorry. I've just spilt the tea on my palette. Hey! Can you mix peppermint tea and oil paint. Shall we try? Vote yes or no to mixing tea with oil paint in this picture. Vote now. Yes or no? Right, here we go. What have I got next? Now, this is starting to look more like it. Yeah, that's the avenue of trees. But there's a little bit too... I think I need to have a little bit more of this darker stuff coming across. Yeah, that's better. You'll notice that I'm not putting in lots of detail, and that's deliberate. Just blocks of colour. Don't need to do masses. Just don't need to. You know, I think you've heard this, one or two people may have heard this before, that on Wackaday filming trips, I used to take my paints with me, and the crew would love this, because whenever we were short of a story, the director would say, "Hey Timmy, paint us a picture and tell us what you're doing." So I'd sit there painting, usually in watercolours because they're a lot quicker and easier, and then tell people what I'm doing, and they'd say, "Give us a finished picture in half an hour." So I did. I used to work away like crazy. That's too bright. I'll put a bit of that buff titanium in. You can give me the comments here afterwards. Maybe I have to reset the camera somehow, somewhere better so that you can see it easier. We're getting most of it, aren't you? Are you feeling comfortable with this? Is it starting to look right? Ah, that's what I wanted. Nice gooey bit of pinkish tones in here. And what I'm doing, no, bit too bright. Thicken down the bit of grey into there. Those are some of the distant trees on the other side of the avenue. Lighten it up, Mallet. Put some flake white in there. I used to work a lot in acrylics, and I like acrylics. And I take acrylics when I did the Camino de Santiago. I painted in acrylics then because they were quick drying, quite forgiving, and worthwhile. But in the studio, I don't. Acrylics eat the paint. And by that I mean you just use masses. And there's a luminosity, there's a quality of the colours in oil paint that is just glorious. I like what it does and what it delivers. Let's come over here a bit and add a bit of... That's a bit too bright. Knock it back. Knock it back. Hint of green. Hint of green. This time of year, all the trees are skeletal and sculptural. my favourite time of year, because there's no green on the leaves yet. There's no colour. You just see the trees as they're supposed to look, with structure and form. They're powerful, their limbs out like this. You go, oh my God, they're proper trees, aren't they? Yeah, they are proper trees. Yeah, they are. And in 2 months' time, they'll be thick with a green canopy, and you won't see the structure. And that's a little bit of a shame, really, because the structure of trees appeals to me. Hey, everything has its season. What's that famous phrase? To everything a season. Yeah. And the seasons are what makes living in Britain brilliant. Truly brilliant to live in Britain. I think we're very fortunate here. See what I've done here? Putting in a bit of light down the side of the limbs of the tree. If I do this, you're starting to get the idea that there's a light source coming this way. Tell me, are you supposed to be at work now? Are you supposed to be doing something useful? You are doing. You're keeping me company, and I'm really grateful for your company. Thank you. You know what? I look at this colour over here, and it's this and this, and they're just too bright. Something here needed there. What have I done there? Let's get a bit of this colour in. See, I haven't cleaned the brush. Is this lazy of me? Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to do what I always do, which is just go over there and look at this from a distance. I find that when I look at the painting from a distance, I'll get an idea of what's missing. I found what was missing. Oh my goodness, that gingerbread is lovely. You know, in this lockdown, where we can't go out and we can't do this and we can't do that, there's an awful long list of things we can't do. I think there ought to be a bigger list of things we can do, which is we can reach our potential. That's better. That's chunkier. That feels more like it now. Big thick dollop of paint onto there. Yeah, now when I put this into here, tell me what happens. That's better, isn't it? It's weird. You put a bit of darkness into there, and Van Dyke Brown. Another text. Somebody else urgently needing my attention. Not as important as you, though. Van Dyke Brown. Isn't it amazing how many different names of colours there are? You know, there's a million different browns. Burnt umber, raw umber, burnt sienna, Van Dyke Brown, and you try them all, and they've all got a different purpose to them. That's feeling good. That's feeling better. Right, let's get some more of this nice yellowy green. What green have I got here? Ooh! Yeah. Cinnabar green yellowish. Let's squeeze it out. Ah, too bright, too bright. Take that down a bit, Mallet. Add some of the buff titanium, that nice pale, slightly ochre colour. When you paint the tones of Britain, what you're looking for are tones. We have really good tonal variety in Britain. You might get brighter colours in other parts of the world, but here in Britain we get tones. Tones are really good. They measure the light and shade in every day. Every day has a bit of light and shade in it. Right, a little bit of yellowish into that green there. That's nice. That shows, that bit of yellow into there, shows the hint of new colour just coming. There's a manicured lawn down this avenue of trees. Avenue manicured, and out of this is growing this wonderful abundance of daffodils. Now, in about a week or so, the daffodils will be ignored and we'll be on to the next set of spring. You've already seen the magnolias out. Magnolia trees, and the primroses and primulas are in the garden, celandines. And then next up, in April, we get the start of the bluebells. Half the world's variety of bluebell are native to the British Isles. Now, here's an interesting thing. Horizon. just a bit more there, because that's the horizon and then that's a field opposite. Be back, not going anywhere. Right, let's get some more of this yellow in, I think. This golden yellow will be useful. That 50-year-old oil paint that I started with is really thick and quite difficult to work. I might need a palette knife here. Van Gogh used a palette knife. You see, and Freud used a palette knife. A lot of the Impressionists used a palette knife because they could ladle the colour on thickly and just, where is it, there it is, get it in, get it on. When you start with oil colours, or if you're going to start with painting, don't be afraid of it. Remember, light and shade. I've got some dark in that green behind, and now when I start to put this yellow in, boy does that stand out. If you want things to stand out, light and shade. By the way, if you need to go away for anything, if you've got anything to do, don't worry, I won't be offended, and you can come back in 20 minutes and see how things are progressing. Because they will, they'll just progress. It's one of the hottest, brightest, sunniest March days we've had for quite some time. But I'm not entirely surprised by this weather. I'll give you how I come to that. I've got solar panels on the roof, and since I got them put in, I've been noticing how March is just the sunniest month of springtime. April will bring us the showers, and May will bring us some of those breezes that are quite startling. But March, that can give you quite a lot of really nice sunshine. Not necessarily heat, sunshine. What I'll do with this is at the end of today's session I'll put this canvas to one side. The paint itself will take several days to dry. Might take a week. Doesn't matter. We're not going anywhere, are we? And then you come back to it and add more. How's that looking, Mallet? We'll get your chair out of the way. Come on, let's have a little look. Oh, right, it's obvious. I need the other side of the pathway doing. Paintings don't just happen, you know. They grow. They evolve. You find yourself thinking about them. I've been thinking about this one for a few days. I saw the image one day last week. Spent a couple of sessions getting it to this stage. And I wake up in the morning and I'm going, now I need to fix that bit. What am I going to do about such and such? I like the way the more I paint, the more I sharpen my eyes. Got to see things, use these. They're really important. They're important to us. Now you want to know, how long does a painting like this take? And the answer is about 50 years. Because every little thing that we do every day teaches us stuff. It's not about how quickly you do things. It's about how well you do things. Mallet, when will this be finished, this painting? I don't know. I don't care. More important to get it right than it is about how long it takes. Have another look. Get that chair out of the way. Level it up a bit. Yeah. Yeah. That looks nice. That little bit of bluey purple coming across here. We can't see this little bit I'm doing down here. I'm just accentuating the deep shadow in the foreground. I want to have a dark, strong foreground, a really dark, strong foreground, which will force your eye in. Make it really dark here at the foreground. That will force you to look past whatever's in the foreground at the other detail. You could use an ivory black into that. I'm not going to. I'm going to just use the iridium blue mixed with cobalt purple. Right. Let's get some more of that dark green that I saw earlier. Oxide of chromium and terre verte. These, often they use French names for paintings, for colours. Often. Not quite sure why. Never given it a moment's thought, really. But you talk about the different colours that and what they do. I want a nice dark green in here now. What have I got? Where's that green gone? I had it somewhere. What's this one? Oh, Tarlo green. Yeah. Tarlo green. Get a thick brush in. Yeah, that's nice. Now, at this stage, I'm feeling like I've probably got too much bright colour into this, and it could do with the drama of softer tones. But I won't tackle that in this session. I'll tackle that again when I've had a think about it, when I've seen how it's starting to come together and how it feels. Paintings have to feel. They don't just have to look. What I'm thinking about here is the joy of an English spring. Especially this spring. This spring is going to be the most important spring of our lifetimes, because it comes with hope, and boy do we need some hope. We need to feel hopeful and helpful, and to give thanks for what we've got, which is health, friends, family. I guess nothing's more important, is it? Right, let's read some of your comments. Bring back Saturday mornings. Weirdly, weird you should ask this, because I was talking to Michaela this morning, and she and I talk often, by the way. We're good pals. and we were talking about the response to her tweet at the weekend. Did you see that? She put this lovely message out, you know, self-isolating in bed with the dog and Timmy Mallett. She had my book with her, and what a nice reaction. Very nice reactions from people, and thank you for that, really appreciate it. So we were talking this morning about Whackaday. And how much it's held in high regard by so many people. But we think about it differently. Why is it held in such high regard? Is it because there was nothing else on the telly? No, that's not true. There were other things on the telly. There were other shows that weren't as watched as Whackaday or the Wide Awake Club, because our show had more viewers. But we both feel very fondly about it. You'll be pleased to know. We feel very fondly about that show. What do you do with all your paintings? Well, I like exhibiting them. Lots of them sell. I'm in galleries all across the country, and that's nice. I've got a big collection of paintings created on the Camino de Santiago 2 years ago, and they, I know, will end up in a big exhibition at some stage when all this is over. Where will it be? Don't know. Interesting this, isn't it? The important thing is the doing of them. The doing of them is more important than anything. If you can, you should. God forbid I couldn't pick up a paintbrush and do this anymore. Or have the fun of talking on YouTube like this. Peter Legg. Hi Peter. That's lovely. Well, thank you very much. There's an art critic there with a fine turn of phrase. That's lovely. Great. Hands up who was here at the start. Can you see any difference? How long have it... Where's my watch gone? It's in my pocket. Oh. Battery needs changing in the watch, that's why. What time is it? Anybody know what time it is? No, I don't know either. How long have we been doing this? An hour? Maybe. Question is, can you see any difference yet? Is it starting to have a bit of anything? Need some more white in there. You don't have to paint with a brush. You can paint with a palette knife. I'm going straight from the tube onto the canvas. And I'm going on with white, which of course I couldn't do if I still had the white canvas and I hadn't bothered putting the underpainting in. That's why I do the purple underpainting. And although it's still there for the moment, you're actually going to be quite hard pressed to see that. In due course you're going to go, where's the underpainting? I can't see what colour it is. Right, mix up that nice little golden yellow, add a wee bit of pink, a bit more pink, that's nice. See what's happening here? By putting these dollops of colour in over the top, your eye does the work of creating that distant field. I don't know why this happens, it just does. It's a great thing, an optical illusion. What was I saying before about sharpening your eyes? Make sure that you put them to work. It's important. Now, if you've got family, get the paints out. Get them to have a little go. Lee, what have you got to say? Your paintings are incredible, thank you. Hi to my wife. She was on Wackaday on Talent in the Telly segment, dressed as a clown telling jokes. Katie! That's brilliant. A clown telling jokes. Go on then, tell us a joke. Make me laugh. Give us a gag. I love that. It's quite common actually, Lee, Katie, for people to say, oh, you won't remember me, I was on Wackaday, or I last saw you at. The thing is, I will remember. What did I see the other day? Oh, somebody said, oh, I saw you in South Shields. You won't remember. I said, oh yeah, I remember that. You saw me in South Shields. I said it was Bents Park. It was August bank holiday, 1991. Boiling hot day. And you were part of 4,000 kids that queued up to be hit on the head by the mallet to get a little pinky punky mallet. They said, how do you remember that? I'm going to remember something like that, aren't I? I had a toy hammer and started people on the head. Thank you, Billy Davies. It's not a hammer, it's a mallet. Unless, of course, you had an actual toy hammer. I don't know. You might have done. You might have had a toy hammer. Ooh, if I had a hammer. Ah, right. Let's try this one. The cadmium yellow. That might be nice. Oh, yeah. Actually, that cadmium yellow is a little bit brighter than the other one. I'll put that in there. That will give us a new bit of colour into here. Oh, this is starting to feel really nice now. Really nice, the dollops. Sorry, just looking around the corner because I thought I heard somebody at the gate. I'm looking at an image just off screen here. One of the great things is with modern technology is that you can take a photo, you can take a set of photos and use those as the basis for your images. When I do that, when I take photos of something I think I'm going to paint, I'm already composing what the painting's going to look like. I'm thinking about the light and shade. What can I see? What aspect to take? So, should I take the photo low down, high up? Should it be portrait, landscape? Should I zoom in? Sometimes it's not clear, so you might do a bunch of those. So, for instance, for this particular painting, seeing these daffodils last week at Rotten Row in the Chilterns, I think I took about 25 photos, and it's very obvious at the end there's just one or two that you'll actually use because the other ones haven't come out quite right or don't make it very easy what you want to paint. Come in here and give us a comment. Excuse me, I've got an art critic now, just about to walk in. Hello, art critic.
Where's the frame?
Where's the frame? Good comment. Hey, listen, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to say, that'll do.
And put a frame on it?
Yeah, well...
It's not finished yet, is it?
No. No. What do you mean it's not finished yet? What do you think? Are you happy with this? What's that one say? It's Wackaday. Thank you, Mark. Good one. Will Wackaday ever be released on DVD? Stephen, if there was enough call for it, I'm sure we could do something. However, also, it's really good in your memory. It's good in my memory. And sometimes it would be different because you would see it differently now. You'd see it now as an adult instead as that little 8-year-old boy you were when you watched it and how it was. Sometimes it's better just to let things be as they were. So it's not to say I don't want it to come out on DVD. It's just let's do something new and different. Just going to say thank you very much indeed for watching this afternoon, and it's been a pleasure having your company here. I'm going to stop with this. If you're lucky, we'll do this again tomorrow. So cheerio, and there's a little whack away for you.